Good morning, YouTube. Today, let's talk about what happens if you get scammed consigning your car.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan, and we are at the Stub, and this is our dealership, NG Supercars. And actually, this car we just sold on consignment is a Ferrari 458 Speciale. It is glorious. And the transaction was pretty simple. It went through pretty well. And guess what? We didn't screw anyone, so hooray. That's how it should happen. But as you've seen with CNC Motors and now Alpha Motive, well, stuff doesn't always go according to plan. And here's the problem is a lot of people have a lot of advice of how he should handle, like how Marcus should handle this and just go get his car and all that stuff. And well, it's not that simple. And I've said that many, many times, and it's true. It's not that simple. So let's talk about what happens if you get scammed when you consign your car and what can you do about it? Well, unfortunately, it's not good. Okay, so like we said, CNC Motors, Alpha Motive, and I'm sure lots of others actually, this is not uncommon. First of all, a lot of people say, why are you even bothering to consign your car? Just sell it yourself. Well, there's a lot of reasons why people choose to do consignments. So let's go through a few of those. First of all, dealers tend to be able to get a better price. They have the ability to have a larger network of people. They have a better presence. Another thing is that if you're selling the car yourself, you have to deal with all the people who are trying to buy the car. So that means you're going to deal with all the scammers, all the people trying to make lowball offers, people coming out and wanting a free test drive. That may not be a big deal if you're selling like a Toyota Camry because, well, not everyone's coming out and trying to just hop in and joyride a Toyota Camry. But if you're trying to sell a Dodge Viper or a Ferrari or some sort of six-figure car, there's a lot of people who just want to go test drive it. They just want to go see it. And so you get a lot of bullshit offers and, well, just people trying to scam you. And it can be really frustrating. It takes up a lot of your time. So I would say on average, when we sell a car, we probably get somewhere between 50 and 100 inquiries, of which all but one end up being the real transaction. So that's 50 to 100 correspondences that we're making on every single car that we sell, if not more in some cases, of lowball offers, scam attempts, crap. So a lot of people say, you know what, I'm willing to pay a little bit of money to not have to deal with that. Another thing to factor in is the more expensive the car, the harder it is to sell yourself because now you really have to vet out the buyers. And dealerships have the power to do other things such as take in trades. So if you're selling your car on your own, you lose all the people who are interested in doing a trade-in. So that also is another reason to do a consignment, is it actually broadens the available market pool. All that being said, there's a lot of reasons that people do consignments, and I don't think it's a bad idea, but there's a lot of dealers who are abusing the consignment market. And so what happens if that happens to you? What happens if you consign your car and they don't pay you? That's what happened with Marcus's car, for example. In this particular situation, he still got the title. Everyone keeps saying, just go get your car. You know where the car is, you had a tracker, a GPS tracker on it, just go get it. You can't just go break into the person's house and steal your car back, even if you have the key and the title. In fact, even if you have the title and the key and the car is parked on public property, it's legally kind of weird if you take your car back. You might be able to in some states and you might not in other states. And the reason is because the buyer has a legitimate bill of sale. The dealership legitimately gave the buyer the car and a bill of sale. The problem is the dealership didn't pay Marcus. So here's the big problem of when a consignment deal goes bad is it is not criminal. It is a civil violation, is a civil court matter. So it is a contract violation. You have a contract with the dealer to sell the car. The dealership broke that contract in some way, whether it's not paying you for the car, selling the car without your permission, selling the car at a price you didn't agree to. All those sorts of things happen. In a lot of cases, the dealerships are actually having you sign a power of attorney so that you can actually have them just transfer the title without your permission and all that stuff, or without you being there. So first of all, big red flag, don't ever sign a power of attorney form if you're consigning your car. Just don't. You don't need to. Second thing, if you have the title, keep the title. Do not let the title go. Also, if you have two sets of keys, keep the second set of keys at home. If you only have one set of keys, go make a copy before you sell the car, please, just in case. Now with Marcus's car, again, he had the car on consignment, had a contract, they sell the car, they give the buyer a bill of sale, and then they just don't pay him. That means the contract violation is between Marcus and the dealership. The dealership sold the car according to the contract that they had authorization to do so. Now, they may have sold it at a different price. So again, that is a violation of the contract between him, the dealership, and Marcus, not with the buyer. That's the weird thing, is that even though Marcus may have a set of keys, the title, and location of the car, he cannot just go get the car, in many cases legally, even if the car is parked on public property. If the car is on private property and you go take that car, you are now breaking and entering or stealing someone's car off their property. You can't do that. If the car is parked in public situation, he might be able to get the car back, and it kind of varies state by state. So, and that's the other weird thing. In this case, is a multi-state situation. Some states have rules in place that protect the buyer. So, for example, California law is that if you buy a car from a dealership and the dealership has a bad transaction, but you were a good faith buyer, in most cases, the buyer is entitled to the car. They are completely innocent in this situation. They had no agreement with the dealer other than to buy the car at a price that they were seeing advertised or whatever. So that's why you can't say stuff like, oh, just go get the car. Now, that's not to say that people haven't. I know one of the people that we dealt with CNC Motors, they found out where their car went after it was sold without their permission. They didn't have the keys, but they still had the title. It went to another dealership. They arranged to do a test drive of the car, went outside dealership, test drove the car, and took it straight to the police station. Walked in or whatever and said, here's my title, here's my car. It was in possession by this dealership after this CNC Motors sold it to them illegally. I am taking possession of my car back. And the police said, okay. So in that particular example, it worked out. That's not always the case. Again, here's the reality. If your car is sold without your permission, you are going to probably end up in civil court. In some cases, you may end up in criminal court, but it is not as likely, and it's going to be a tough battle. Another thing that people keep saying that also isn't true is just file the claim with your insurance. Well, it's not that easy. Again, it is a contract violation, so the car is not considered legally stolen. So therefore, the police aren't going to help you on that. They aren't going to say, your car's stolen, we're going to go get it, we'll impound it. Nope. That's why when Marcus contacted the San Antonio police, they would not impound the car because the buyer had a bill of sale and it's not considered stolen. So police aren't going to help you. So there's that problem. You can call the police all you want, and they're going to say, take it to the civil courts, file a lawsuit. Now again, with your insurance, you go to your insurance and you say, hey, this car was stolen. And they're going to say, no, it wasn't. And then also, here's where it really is a problem, is in many cases, they'll say, did you give them permission to have possession of your vehicle? If so, we're not insuring your car at all. So you got to make sure that your insurance is happy and okay with you having your car at a dealership with them having possession of your vehicle. Again, insurance is not going to say it's stolen, so they're not going to pay you out, so you're kind of screwed in that case. Now, the only way to get that to possibly be okay is if criminal charges are brought against the dealer, and then they say that, hey, yes, your car was actually stolen. Now you may have the ability to go back in time and file with your insurance. Also, another big thing is people said, well, just file against the bond that the dealership has, because all dealerships are required to have a bond. Well, if you have a $20,000 Toyota Camry, yeah, that's probably not a problem, because most of the time, I believe most states, the bond is somewhere around $50,000. That's what it is here in Texas, and that's the minimum. And let's be real, no dealership on earth is going to buy one that's bigger than the minimum because they don't have to. So that means if your car is $20,000, you file against the bond, great, you're probably all set. Well, what happens when your car is, $150,000? Okay, you might get $50,000. Now you're still short $100,000. That kind of still hurts. Now, in California, there's a weird thing called the California Motor Recovery Fund or something like that. Motor Recovery, I don't know, whatever. Look it up. They would pay out $30,000, or maybe it was 33, I can't remember the exact number, but it was like $30,000 to both the buyer and seller in a transaction that goes bad because of a dealership doing things like this. So there's actually a fund in California just to take care of situations exactly like this because it happens that often. Now, here's where it's kind of crazy. CNC Motors was so big, it depleted the entire fund. the fund had no money in it. So it took a while for the fund to rebuild up and people to get paid out. The other thing is it had a 1-year statute of limitations. So you had to file within 1 year. That's just California. I don't know if that's true in all the other states. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not. So if you're in California and you have a situation like this go bad, file immediately with the California Motor Recovery Fund, whether you're the buyer or the seller, because you will get hopefully some reimbursement from it. All right, so we figured out car's not stolen, it's civil matter, it's civil courts, police aren't going to help you, insurance isn't going to help you. Most likely the person that bought the car isn't going to just give it back to you. So now you've got a buyer who may not have a title, and you've got a seller who doesn't have a car but has a title, and you got a dealer who walked off with the money. That's where it gets really ugly, because now these two might be going at it, but instead, like, they can go at the dealer, but again, civil court and civil court. Now, this person's got to file with an attorney. This person's got to file with an attorney. Both people are hiring attorneys. Both people are filing suits. The only people winning here are the lawyers. It sucks. That's just how it is, man. So the lawyers are winning. The dealership, they might walk away and go bankrupt. And that's the crazy part, is unless criminal charges are brought against them, they may just file bankruptcy and disappear. And that's it. Obviously, a lot of people said, go beat them up or whatever. You can't obviously do illegal things if, now you're the one who's doing illegal things and now you could go to jail instead of the dealer. So that's not going to help. Here's the thing that I find very fascinating about these situations is both in CNC Motors and this particular case with Marcus, is there is a lot of victim blaming going on. It's very easy to look at the situation in hindsight and say, oh, here's the things you should have done differently. But keep in mind, like, in the moment, most people assume that the dealers aren't trying to screw you, and that, hey, if they're in business and they have a shop and all this stuff and they've been around for a while, that they're legitimate. I mean, look how many people CNC Motors screwed over, that all these people thought it was a legitimate business. We're talking, like over 100 people here. It's not always as easy as you think. It's not always as obvious as you think. So let's not victim blame. It's stupid. It looks bad on you. The real people who are jerks are the dealers. Like, these are the people who are making the bad choices here. If you're selling your car, you're just trying to sell your car. So unfortunately, again, these situations are really terrible. There's not any winners in these situations. It's pretty much just everyone's ended up with less money and bad stuff or whatever. So just be cautious when you're doing consignments if you feel you have to. We do consignments, but we try and do them a little bit differently. We don't have any power of attorney. We don't want it. Don't ask for it. We don't let people test drive the cars without a non-refundable deposit. Since we don't have power of attorney, we're not doing the transaction without your permission. And obviously, we have the cars on YouTube and all that stuff, so it's pretty public of whatever we're doing. So, chances are you'll see the car in videos frequently. So, it's like, where's my car? Well, it's right, there. If you're interested in buying a car from us or having us do any services or whatever, reach out to us. You can email us, sales@ngsupercars.com. And you can go check out our website, normalguyssupercar.com. There you can buy parts and services from us. We do appreciate your support. But that's going to do it for this video. We'll see you in the next video. We're doing a lot of cool car stuff. It's going to be sweet.